I had an impromptu debate last night with 1stAmender. Uh, and I've reviewed he debated Andrew Wilson and whatever. He does a little call-in show. And I know he's a leftist, right? So he is like so chained in, he can't like even rap, he can't even like entertain certain ideas because they're just, it sounds like you're making excuses for slavery. And it sounds like you're making, and he can't get his mind into these. He can't even like entertain the idea. He just has to call it stupid and run away. And so he freaks out and like bans me from the show. Stick through he does a little thing in the middle. I'm not going to do a lot of interrupting in this one. I'm going to try to let it just mostly play through because I'm going to try and edit it and put it up. But he does this thing where he starts losing so bad that he starts reading from a book of like some slave person that wrote a book or something, and he's trying to get like sympathy points or whatever, and just like, and it's like, dude, you're losing this debate. And he comes back and he just loses it and throws me off. So you got to bear through some of the like the middle parts when he just goes off, because I can't moderate him. Like, it's his channel. That's the only way he'll debate people, because he's kind of a pussy. He knows how he got his shit pushed in by Andrew Wilson, so he doesn't want any part of real debates. So he just hides on his channel where he can kick you off and like mute you and shit like that. So I had to be really careful, but I was just trying to provoke him a little bit just to see if I could get him to do a debate. He's not going to do it. He won't even talk to me now. So check it out. And like I said, just bear with him when he does all his little story about Harriet Tubman or whatever. I fell asleep. So, and I'm on phone. So this is a phone call in. So check it out. Enjoy.
He's anything but a nice guy. He's literally the
phone call.
opposite of one.
You're on the line with 1stAmender.
Hey, what's up, 1stAmender? Aries
Hey.
Van Dam. How you doing?
What was your name?
Aries Van Dam. I was just in your comments.
Aries Van Dam? Where is that? Let me look.
It was a while ago.
Oh. I'm
How
gonna
you
do
doing?
my best. I'm gonna butcher your name, but it's fine. Aries Van Dam. Okay, what would you like to talk about, Aries?
Well, that last caller got me kind of thinking about slavery, and I wanted to see what your thoughts were on this. Do you think slavery was a good thing or a bad thing for black people?
Horrible. Horrible thing.
Really? Why do you think that?
The human destruction and death and harm.
Right, but
and forceful
but the other
suppression
solution was
and
to
pulling
leave
people
them,
away
right.
from their families and selling
Right.
babies
Well, I'm
off
not
when they
saying
were
all
still
the
nursing.
after effects. Those are
What?
after effects. I'm
Those are
talking
not
about
after
the actual
effects. Those
action.
are direct effects.
Right, but here's what I'm trying to get to. You're not understanding the question. What I'm trying to say, if they didn't buy the slave, they would have killed that slave. They don't just keep them.
What?
They
How
gotta
about you
pay to
just not
feed 'em.
take them?
Then they die. That's what I'm saying.
What are you talking about?
What do you think they do with slaves they can't sell?
Well, I'm against slavery, so you're not selling people as property. Do you see the
Right,
difference?
but I'm against murder. I'm against murder. What I'm saying is that they
So
saved
you would
that black
have
person's
slavery
life,
to
though.
prevent murder?
I mean, whatever you have to do to prevent murder. I'm not
So
saying slavery is
you
the
would-
right answer. I'm
Would
saying
you
it's a better
prefer?
answer than
Would you
leaving them to
prefer
die, though.
slavery as opposed to no slavery?
I would prefer no slavery to slavery, yes.
Okay. So what are you arguing? I don't understand.
I'm arguing that it is better that they took them instead of leaving them there to die in a cage.
That's psychotic. They were put
Why were they in the
into a
fucking
Why were
cage?
why were they in the cage? Exactly.
As-
Right, but that's not
That's the
not
slavery.
for them.
As if I put them there. No, this is a hypothetical, you dumb shit. This is a hypothetical. You're there at the market and there's a slave in a cage. Now, do you buy him and commit slavery? Or do you just leave him there? Like, and the guy in the cage obviously has no way to pay him back for whatever he's got to pay. I'm sure it's like the equivalent of a car. You're getting a person. Like, I'm sure that's better than an ox or whatever. I'm sure it was an expensive price. Like, you're there at the market and the guy's in the cage. What do you do? The only thing you can do is buy him, and then I guess he's got to work that off. Like, I'm not saying the working off was fair, and I'm not saying that was done right. But what I am saying is it's better than letting them kill that guy. Because if you're in a cage in a market, I got a feeling you're probably not going to have good things happen to you if nobody buys you. Like, call me crazy, but that would have ended a lot of people's lives. We have black people in America today because some of those slaves did live. That's a way to live. And anytime you stay alive, you're still giving a chance for rebellion. Like if you agree to this slavery contract, you come there and work to get paid back for whatever he had to pay for you. Well, then there's always a chance you can escape. There's always a chance you can have an uprising. But if you just die right there, then there's nothing. Your line ends. Those people don't get born, and they never even got to exist. So how is that not better to allow those people to be born? I mean, I'm not saying it's better than like just freeing them and just taking the hit and not having the money, but people in 1800s, 1700s, 1600s, I don't think they could just afford to lose like that much of their salary and not get anything back. Like that's just not realistic, especially not back then. That's my point. So I don't think he can wrap his head around it, but enjoy.
Who make that determination? They're just a tourist there, right? Whatever they were
But
doing.
you're
on the
justifying
cargo ship.
slavery with
And they
slavery.
see a guy
They're
in
like,
a-
hey,
in a
look at
cage.
the horrible conditions we put them in. And
Right,
then,
I'm not saying that was good. I didn't say that was good, but it's still better than death, right? If you're dead, they
so
can't
why
do
not
anything.
just treat people as human beings, no slaves?
Open the cage.
In 2026, I agree with you, but in 1600, I don't know that they all
Also
would
back
agree
then,
with
there
that.
were firm abolitionists back then.
Not in the 1600s, kid. Sorry.
Though
No, this-
I'll
I'm talking about- no, I'm talking
grant
about when
you
they
that
bought
it was
them
rather
before.
fringe,
No.
which kind of actually lays
Right,
into
you're talking
play my
later.
original
You're talking later.
problem
I'm
of
talking about
Christianity.
originally. No, I'm talking originally. Like the first ones who bought them, like they were doing a kind act by sparing that black person from being murdered. Like murder is worse than slavery, right?
Actually, I would probably prefer murder. I would prefer,
Really?
I would
Then you can't have an uprising, right? There you go. Line ends.
prefer dying free than being forced into slavery.
I would agree with you on that to a degree, but here's what you're not looking at. You have to look at this from the aspect of their descendants. Do you think their descendants would rather that their ancestor die, or do you think that the descendants would rather that their ancestor live on so that they can,
Descendants
born
only
and then go
survive
on
if
to live
they
their life.
live, right? So but they
Exactly,
wouldn't be
exactly.
consciously aware
He's not getting it.
What do you mean?
that they wouldn't
You're aware that
exist.
you would rather be alive than dead, right?
Like if an ancestor died, and honestly, a lot of death was wrought from slavery. So a lot of deaths were created from the descendants. So the argument is just to not have slavery.
Less people could not, I mean, you couldn't have more people dying because of it. You've spared people and their descendants here. So more people have lived. If that guy just dies in that cage, then there's no descendants. So you're still at a net positive for life, right?
Well, yeah, now it is, but I'm saying in their time, it was a different world. Like, what did you want him to do? Just leave
think
that
it was
guy
like-
to die?
To just not have slavery.
Well, right, but they're at a slave market. So what do you want him to do? Do you want him to leave that guy to die, or should he bring him to America
Why are
so
they
that
in
his
a slave
descendants can play in the
market?
NBA? Which is better?
All
What the
right.
fuck is this guy on about? My God.
Have you ever heard of Henrietta
to say it.
King?
Here we go.
Is she related to Martin Luther King? Oh.
No.
No, I don't know her then.
Can I read you a passage?
Sure.
All right, hang tight.
It's not just a passage.
If it's just telling me how bad slavery was, I can acknowledge it was
Yeah.
bad, but it's still better than death.
I
That's what I'm
find
saying.
your position to be, like, honestly, like I probably wish that I feel like that there's many instances of
So I felt like this entire reading this thing was a pivot and just buying him some time because he was so like just didn't know where to go with it. Like he was just dumbfounded. So he read this thing for like what seemed like an eternity because I was getting sleepy.
slavery where people would have wished for death. And it's like you
Possibly
sitting
so,
there
possibly so.
justifying slavery is
I'm not
morally
justifying anything. I'm
abhorrent.
asking a question. I'm asking you a question. I'm not
yeah, but the
justifying it either
question
way.
is like it's laying credence into slavery.
No, it's not. It's just asking you a question. And
Well,
you
but
can
I
answer it one
answered
way, you
it,
can answer
and
it another
then
way.
and then you want me to answer it in a different way. But slavery
No, I
is
don't.
abhorrent.
I
Like
like
we're
your
not
answer.
gonna
I like
hold
your
you in
answer.
favor of this.
Right, I like your answer. I like your answer. Slavery is abhorrent. But I'm saying in 1600 or whenever they're on that in the docks to buy that black person, it was the best option they had available.
It's
That's
not
what
the
I'm trying to
best
say.
option available. That's probably one of the worst options available.
Well, what would be better?
Yeah, beat the
Leave them alone.
beat the slaver, free
Let
the
him die.
To
slave.
let them die.
Beat the slaver,
No,
free the
that-
slave.
why
That's
would
the
they
better
die?
option.
Why would they die if we left them alone?
I want you to think about this for a second, right? You're in Africa in the 1600s. You're at a market and you look around and you see a black guy naked in a cage. Do you think his chances are good he's going to live for very long? Or do you think they're probably going to kill him or sell him to somebody else? Either way, slavery or death. That's pretty much the options for fella in the cage. That's just where they were at. Like, and I know we look at it from our current day perspective, but we're not looking at it from right now. Yes, slavery is abhorrent. I'm sure they all thought that in 1600.
Do you think they just keep paying to feed them forever when they don't sell? What do you think they do with
What?
slaves whenever they don't
No,
sell?
you wouldn't
What do you
have the
think they did with them when
slave.
they didn't
You wouldn't
sell?
have them as a slave.
Oh, so they would just let them go and be like regular
Yeah, you
people
just
in
don't have
society? They would
slaves.
be
You
a
don't
king
have
instead.
people like if there wasn't
Right, we-
Westerners coming to Africa
but that's not
wanting
us.
to buy
But that's not
people,
us.
there wouldn't have
That's not us,
been
though.
slaves.
Right, but that's not us. Like they have the slaves. I'm not.
No, they
like,
did
I don't
not
know
have
why
the
they have them.
slaves. It was the slave trade propagated the existence of more slaves.
So if they couldn't, what do you think they would do with that person who they were trying to sell into slavery? If they didn't have them to sell into slavery, what do you think they would do with them?
He doesn't get what I'm talking about here. I'm saying if there is no slavery, they're just killing that guy. That's why he's in the cage. He's there for, like, he's a warring tribe or whatever, but he would be a dead guy. The slavery saved that guy's lives. And now his descendants are dunking basketballs in the NBA.
You think they would just make him their king?
They
or do you
didn't
think
have
would
them
kill
as
him?
slaves.
Yeah, I know. I'm understanding that. What I'm asking you is, if they don't make him into a slave, what would they do with this black person who is in a cage right now?
They
if there's
wouldn't
no
be in a
slavery,
cage.
what-
They're not a slave.
Right. Where would they be? Right. You're
Out
getting it. You're getting
in the
it. Where would they
Serengeti,
be?
in Africa
Oh,
somewhere.
they would just. Oh, so there would be no conflict if they didn't have slavery. Is that what you're saying?
I didn't say that. No, there's always conflict everywhere.
Right. Exactly.
But at least they'd
That's
be
my point.
free
They've caught
to
this
make their
person
own
that they're wanting to
decisions
do
under
the
their
most
own
awful
basis.
thing that
Don't
they
have
can
slavery
do.
in the first place.
Right. You're missing my point. Right. They've caught this person who has done
What-
whatever
what is
to their
it- why
tribe
don't you
that they're.
just-
Who without slavery, they would just murder him, right? They don't just catch them. They murder them whenever they don't have to sell them into slavery. He can't get it.
Again.
Why don't you just come out straight instead of this silly argument? Why don't you just tell me what is your point?
That is my point.
Yeah.
That slavery was a good thing for black people. Ultimately,
That
not
slavery
at the
was
time,
a
maybe,
good thing
but
for
ultimately,
black people. Okay, so let me.
ultimately, yes.
Wow,
All right,
what a
so I
piece
want
of
to.
shit.
Yeah, so I'm gonna read.
Yes, I'm a piece of shit. You can't even say it, you stupid foreigner. Fuck you. Now, this is where he starts to I don't know what you'd even call this, but he just reads this shit while he's trying to gather his thoughts, and then you'll see.
I want to read this passage from you. This is a real passage from
Fuck the whole debate up.
a woman that was
Well, it's not gonna make me
interviewed.
cry, is it?
This is a
It's not
woman
gonna make
that
me
was.
cry, is it? Don't do that. I don't
There
like
was a
sad
woman that
stuff.
was interviewed.
Read a funny one.
Where this was like after slavery was already abolished, but this lady was very old, and there was a newscaster that went there to interview her, and they wrote down what she said. And her name is Henrietta King, and so this is Henrietta King speaking. She says there was a young woman named Lucy who lived on the next plantation. She was pregnant, and in the mornings, she was so sick she couldn't go into the fields. They thought her due date was still far off, and that was just pretending so that she could get out of working. Finally, one morning, and she didn't line up with the other field hands, the overseer came over to her cabin and dragged her outside. He laid her across a large tobacco barrel and whipped her terribly with a rawhide strap. That woman dragged herself back into the cabin, and the next day she gave birth to a baby girl. And this is no lie because I saw it myself. The baby's back was covered with whip marks, crossings all over it. The next day, Lucy died. Mary was what the slaves called a clabber-colored girl with long black hair. Neither Josephine nor Miss Octavia liked her because she was prettier than either of them. One day, Miss Josephine went upstairs fixing herself up. Her suitor arrived, and so sent Mary downstairs to light a candle in the front room. Mary took a taper to the light candle, and the young man thought that she was some white woman. "Won't you sit down?" he said, standing up. Mary did not say anything. She simply lit the candle and hurried back upstairs. But Miss Josephine heard him, and she became so furious she refused to come downstairs at all. The next day she made Master take Mary to Richmond, and they either hired her or sold her. Hold on a sec. Fuck, what the hell? This is actually the full thing.
You're reading the whole book?
It's not the whole book.
Like, okay.
It's just I have to pull it up. Hold on. I apologize. This is not it.
How does it end? How does the book end?
It's not a book.
Like,
Hold on.
I mean, we're doing a debate here.
This
You're
guy's
reading-
such a
you're
fucking
reading, like, a
racist
book.
piece of shit.
Racist piece of shit. Yeah, Pepe Le Pew, I am. Whatever. Fuck you. Stupid bitch. Ugh.
Hold on. Give me a second.
My whole point I'm trying to get him to understand here is it's all irrelevant. Unless you can tell me that it is better to be dead than it is to have whatever this girl went through. And if you can't say that, and it's still definitely better for her kids and her grandkids and her grandkids, it's better for them that she went through that. So technically it's a net positive. And he can't wrap his head around it, and he just does these diversions, but he goes on for a little further, and then it gets a little spicy.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's like a version of it, and it's like in a very strong
Needs more sympathy. Get more of that.
sorry, just give me a second. Oh,
It's
no.
actually all
Actually,
irrelevant
it
anyway.
is correct. It is correct. Hold on.
See, I
Still
told him.
irrelevant.
It is
though.
correct.
It's all
Still
irrelevant.
She said, see this face?
And I've already told him that.
See how my mouth is twisted over here so I can't close this? See this eye? It's all red, isn't it? It's been that way for more than 80 years now. I suppose it'll stay that way until I die. Well, the mistress made my face this way. You want to know about my slave days? Then sit down on the floor in that chair, and I'll tell you what slave days were like. Master was a well-meaning man, but the mistress was cruel. They were about 20 slaves there, and it was one house where men working in the fields got more to eat than the house servants. Inside the house, the mistress was so stingy that she didn't put enough food on the table to feed a sparrow. Well, here's how it happened. One day, she put a piece of candy on her washstand. I was about 8 or 9 years old, and it was my job to empty the slop bucket every morning. I saw that candy lying there, and I was hungry. I didn't have a father working in the fields like some of the other children to bring me food. I only got little scraps thrown for me from the kitchen each morning. I saw that peppermint stick lying there, but I didn't dare go near it because I knew the mistress was just waiting for me to take it. Then one morning I was so hungry that I just couldn't resist. I went straight in, grabbed the candy.
I just want to keep y'all reminded here. This is in a debate call-in show where he challenges you to a debate so that he can read, like, chapters out of a book in the middle of your debate when he loses. Just keep that in mind. This is an active live debate. He's told me to call in so I could do this. That's what I'm doing.
Stuffed it into my mouth and chewed it up quickly so that way she never found me with it. The next morning, the mistress said, Henrietta, did you take that piece of candy from my room? No, ma'am, I didn't see any candy.
So she lied.
Child, you're lying to me. You took that candy. No, ma'am, I'm telling the truth. I didn't see any candy. You're lying, and I'm going to whip you. Come here. Please, ma'am, please don't whip me. I didn't see any candy. I didn't take it. She took down her rawhide strap by the nail by the fireplace, grabbed me by the arm, and tried to pull me across her knees while she sat on her rocking chair so she could hold me down. I twisted and turned until she finally called for her daughter. The girl came, took the strap as her mother told her, and began striking me as hard as she could while the mistress held me. I kept twisting so she couldn't get a solid blow. Then the mistress lifted me up by my legs, shoved my head underneath the bottom of the rocking chair, and rocked forward to pin my head down while she whipped me some more. I think they whipped me for nearly an hour with
Piers.
that rocking chair leg pressed down on my head. The next thing I knew, the doctor was there, and I was lying on my pallet in the hall while he pushed and probed at my face, but he couldn't do anything for it. It seemed that the rocking chair pressed down on my young bones and have crushed them into a soft pulp. The next day I couldn't open my mouth. When I felt my face, there wasn't any bone left on the left side at all. My mouth kept pulling over to the right side, and I couldn't chew anything, only drink milk. The mistress must have felt some regret, because she had the doctor come regularly and work on my mouth. Eventually, he got it so he could open it and move my lips, but my mouth kept pulling to the right, and he couldn't stop that. After a while, it stayed just where it is now. I never grew any more teeth on that side. I've never been able to chew properly since then. I don't even remember what it's like to chew. I've lived on liquids, stews, and soup ever since that day, and that was 86 years ago. Here, put your hands on my face. Right here on this left cheek. That's what slavery was like. It left me looking as though I had a false face all my life. Children laugh at me. The babies cry when they see me. Of course, I don't mind it anymore. I've been this way so long that I hardly ever think about it, except when I catch someone staring, wondering what devil made me born this way. And it was the devil who did it.
Oh yeah, I get disconnected, but I call right back in. They already start bitching about it, but it's you'll see.
A she-devil who's burning and twisting in hell. She never bothered me much after that. Maybe it was because the master raised such an uproar over what she had done. She never beat me again. Sometimes I'd see her looking at me while I was dusting or sweeping. She never said anything, just sat there watching me without realizing I knew. I suppose she grew tired of having me around. When I was about 13 years old, she and master gave me to a master's cousin. They were kind to me. All I had to do was look after the children. I was still with them when freedom came, and they let me stay just as before, except they paid me each month. I stayed with them until I got married. Soon after I got married.
Now, y'all seeing how this is kind of a distraction in the middle of a debate? Like he's been going for like 6-7 minutes here, just reading about the slaves' issues. And what I'm trying to make him understand here is not, it doesn't even matter. It's just, she wouldn't have children. The children she had would not be alive. She wouldn't be alive. That's worse than, like, death is worse. That's the whole point. And he just keeps trying to like distract with these, how bad slavery was. Yes, it is bad, but it did lead to children. It did lead to like, you know, a lineage that's better than not existing.
Married. I haven't heard of the old mistress had died. She didn't shed any tears. So, this is an actual written account from someone who lived through slavery. Is it fair to say that slavery was not good?
See, I got disconnected right there.
The motherfucker hung up. The bitch hung up.
Bitch, you call a bitch, pussy. Here I am.
Oh, here we go. You're on the line with 1stAmender.
Hey, sorry, I got disconnected there. I fell asleep for a minute. This is Aries Van Dam. How you doing?
So that was a written account, but what was the last part that you heard?
Something about our mouth not working anymore, but you don't have to read it all again. It was put me to sleep once, so do it again. That was all irrelevant. That's what I was trying to tell you before you started all that. That's irrelevant. Like, it's still better than being dead, right?
You're a fucking psycho, dude. Have a good day.
It's still better than
Never
being
call
dead,
again.
right?
Enjoy the block.
Never call again. Enjoy the block.
All right.
I mean, this is the thing. The moment a guy comes in and says slavery was good for the black people, yeah, he's a piece of shit, racist, white supremacist.
That's
because they're
thinking, fucking
you know,
disgusting human being.
we need to educate the wild
What a clown.
black man. Yeah, fuck him.
Yeah, he threw me off.
Anyway,
tough talk me
we're
after you
taking
boot
calls.
me.
Phone
Come
number's
on, pussy.
202. Let's.
And I would debate him right now on the subject of his choosing. I've tried for weeks to get this little loser to debate me, and he would not. And then after this, they didn't even do any more debates. They just started reacting to like videos like I'm doing right now. It changed his whole game plan up. Sorry, fella. Sorry. But he's such a little shit. Oh, I hate people like that. We're not gonna watch the whole thing because I don't really come into play anymore. But I wanted to share that one with y'all because this is what got me to that. Like when I got hit by a train. If y'all don't know that, I got hit by a train working for the railroad in 2019, and like I had to have surgeries and had two pieces of my spine removed in 2020 through COVID and shit. So I thought that was the worst thing that could ever happen to me, right? And then I look around my life right now. My life is in such a better place than it was then. Like I'm healthier, my house is nicer, I'm in a better spot. But like at the time, I thought this is the worst thing that could ever happen to me. And like in the end, it turned out to be a blessing, right? And that's all I was trying to say. That's the point I was trying to make with the whole slavery argument, right? I'm not really saying it was better for the slave. I mean, it is better than being murdered, of course. But it did, if you think about it, it did kind of save that guy, because I don't think they had a lot of uses for the people they wanted out of the way in the tribes of Africa. I think they just murdered that person. So slavery did save him, even though it's an awful, abhorrent thing and we should never do it. It did save that guy's life, right? That's all I was trying to say. And he couldn't engage with the mental gymnastics to get around it, because they have to think. You can't even entertain this because it could sound like you're platforming this, or all these weird things they have in their head, and it's just so silly to me. It's so silly. Yeah, I know. They thought it was over with. I'm back, bitches.